Snow fell slow and quiet over the Wyoming plains, the kind of snow that didn't scream for attention but settled into the land like a tired sigh. The ranch had never felt this empty before. Not when the cattle were gone, not even during drought years. It felt empty because Martha was gone. 2 years gone, yet every board in the house still remembered her footsteps. Caleb Turner stood at the kitchen sink, staring at a mug that had gone cold, wondering how Christmas had arrived again without asking his permission. The tree sat undecorated in the corner, dragged in from outside more out of habit than hope. The house smelled like dust and old wood, not cinnamon and warmth like it used to. He hadn't planned on cooking. What was the point of a meal when no one sat across from you to complain about the salt? That was when he heard the knock, soft, hesitant. Like whoever stood outside was already apologizing for existing. Caleb frowned. No one came out this far in winter. He grabbed his coat, opened the door, and found her standing there. Thin, shaking, holding a small, torn suitcase with both hands like it was the only thing keeping her upright. Snow clung to her dark hair. Her coat was too light for the cold, sleeves frayed, buttons mismatched. She couldn't have been more than 25. Her eyes met his for half a second, then dropped to the porch. "I'm sorry," she said quickly, voice barely louder than the wind. "I wouldn't bother you, but I ain't got nowhere to go, sir." Caleb said nothing. He was already tired. Tired of grief, tired of memories, tired of being the man everyone expected to be strong just because he owned land and animals. He was about to tell her to head back toward town when her stomach betrayed her with a soft, humiliating growl. She flushed red. Then she whispered the words that would crack something long frozen inside him. "But I can cook." He should have shut the door. Any sensible man would have. Instead, he stepped aside. The warmth of the house hit her like a blessing. She stood awkwardly near the door, unsure where to put herself, while Caleb watched her like a wounded animal that might bolt at any second. Her name was Eliza. She didn't give details, just that she'd lost her job, lost her place, lost her family one by one until there was no one left to lose. She hadn't eaten since yesterday morning. Caleb handed her a bowl of leftover stew. She ate slowly, respectfully, like every bite was a gift she wasn't sure she deserved. Later, while snow thickened outside, Eliza stood in the kitchen, sleeves rolled up, breathing life back into the stove. The sound of chopping, sizzling, and humming filled the house. It felt wrong, and yet painfully right. Caleb sat at the table, pretending to read, listening to the quiet miracle of another human presence. When she served dinner, it wasn't fancy. Just roasted potatoes, bread, and a simple chicken dish. But the smell alone nearly broke him. He took one bite and had to look away. It tasted like memory, like survival. Like someone choosing to care. That night, Eliza slept on the couch wrapped in spare blankets. Caleb lay awake upstairs, staring at the ceiling, realizing something terrifying. For the first time since Martha died, the house didn't feel like a tomb. It felt like it was holding its breath. Christmas morning arrived quietly. No laughter, no music. Just the crackle of the fire and the smell of coffee drifting through the house. Caleb came downstairs to find Eliza already awake, nervously adjusting the small tree with handmade decorations she'd fashioned from twine and scraps of paper. She froze when she saw him, like a child caught doing something forbidden. "I'm sorry," she said. It didn't feel right leaving it bare." Caleb didn't answer. He stared at the tree, at the crooked star she'd cut from cardboard, at the way the room looked alive again. He cleared his throat. "It's fine," he muttered. They ate breakfast together in silence, but it wasn't uncomfortable. It was gentle, safe. Afterward, Caleb handed her a small envelope. Inside was cash and a note with an address in town. "There's a diner hiring," he said gruffly. "You can take this, get back on your feet." Eliza's hands trembled. She didn't open the envelope again, she just nodded. "Thank you for the night. For the food, for treating me like I mattered." She stood, slinging her worn coat over her shoulders, already preparing herself to disappear again. That's when Caleb spoke, voice rough with something dangerously close to fear. "You don't have to leave today." She turned slowly. "Sir, the ranch needs help," he said, lying and telling the truth all at once. "Cooking, cleaning, and it's a big place, too quiet." Eliza's eyes filled, but she didn't cry. She smiled, the kind of smile that comes from being seen after a long time of being invisible. Weeks passed, then months. Eliza proved herself 10 times over. She worked hard, learned fast, and filled the house with warmth without ever trying to replace what had been lost. She respected Martha's memory. Sometimes she asked about her. Sometimes Caleb talked. Sometimes he cried. Healing wasn't loud. It came in small moments, shared meals, soft laughter, and long evenings where loneliness loosened its grip. One spring evening, Caleb watched Eliza standing in the golden light of sunset, flour on her hands, humming as she cooked. He realized something then. Christmas hadn't brought him a stranger. It had brought him a second chance, not to forget the past, but to live again. And Eliza, she finally had somewhere to go, not because she begged, not because she had nothing, but because she had something to give, and someone who finally saw her worth.